wanted to share something with you, with the individuals who. Let me turn this on. Turn this on. I wanted to share some thoughts about narcissistic mothers and their daughters. Narcissistic mothers and their daughters. This topic's been brought up before. I've seen different videos about narcissistic mothers and their daughters and their children. I just want to let you know that any narcissist that we run into views all of their relationships as possessions. They view the people around them not as people. They don't see anyone as another. They see everyone as extensions of themselves to meet their need. Objects. They see people as objects. They see people as sources of supply and supply only. But there's a hell that people experience and live through that sets them up. I call it grooming. Most people who get trapped in a pattern of getting in relationships with narcissistic people have been groomed from childhood that prepares you to get in a relationship with a narcissist. It's something familiar. That familia, family spirit. It's something that you've experienced before. All narcissists objectify people, and they don't treat people like human beings or people. They treat them, as I've said before, like appliances. You are a toaster, you are a cell phone, you are a hair dryer, you are a curling iron, you are a pencil, you are a pen, you are a laptop for their needs. And when there's a new model, that's why they want to change up all the time. That's why they always want the new supply, the new source. You wear off. But look, I just want to talk about narcissistic mothers and their daughters. And narcissistic parents, be it man or woman, they objectify their children. And they put their children in roles that children are not designed to be in or carry. There's two things that narcissistic parents do to their children. They parentify their children and they spousify their children. It's disgusting. It's emotional incest. It's abuse just as great and just as devastating as physical incest. Physical incest is despicable, makes you want to vomit the thought of that. But what about when you put the mental and emotional roles of an adult on a small child? What about when you put the obligations of an adult spouse on a small child? Narcissistic mothers often spousify their sons. They treat their sons like house husbands, okay? Forcing little boys who should be playing, childhood is a time where we're expected to move in progressive steps towards responsibility. We are not expected to be forced to be responsible on behalf of our parents. Healthy parenting doesn't force children to be in a role of an adult responsibility level. Oftentimes, and this is the main thing I want to get out. You ever heard the story Cinderella? That's narcissistic mothering. That's a narcissistic mother. A narcissistic mother with her daughter will often treat her daughter like Cinderella. And even though the daughter is her biological child, she treats her like a foster child or like a slave girl, okay? Doing the duties, doing the responsibilities of the mother while the mother remains childish. Oftentimes, the narcissistic mother, I'm not even going to say oftentimes, the mother of the child, of the daughter, views her daughter as competition rather than as a child that she should pour into and she should nurture and she should care for her daughter. She sees her daughter as competition. If she is unmarried and she begins seeing a man, she is extremely envious of anything that involves care towards her daughter. She doesn't want her daughter to receive care. A man will come in and want to put the house in order, and she will resist putting the house in order. She will resist anything that would lighten the burden on the child and have that burden go on her. She sees her daughter as competition for any type of accolades, for any type of praise, for any type of thing that the daughter is gifted at. She cares nothing for the daughter's gifts, talents, or abilities. If there's two daughters, okay, God forbid there's two daughters, she might see one as Cinderella and put her in a mothering role or a slave role, and she'll see the other daughter as her, whichever one more mirrors who she is. She may put that daughter in a friendship role or as the golden child role and live out vicariously through her the life she always wanted to have and who she always wanted to be. So she'll spoil one while she essentially imprisons the other and parentifies the other. And the other daughter, she'll make her little girlfriend, telling her, and again, this is parentification, because she's telling her things maybe about her intimate relationships that are way out of line for a parent to share with a child. She'll share things with her about her burdens at work, trying to get advice from a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, okay? And oftentimes, the child that's put in that golden child rule or that confidant role that she should not be in will grow beyond the mother. She'll grow beyond the emotional maturity level and the mental maturity level of the mother, and she'll want to begin to think independently, and she will want to begin to go out on her own. She will want to have friends besides the mother. But even if she's the favorite one, even if she's the one who's being doted on, the mother will pull her back in and act like a toddler, pitting rivalries against her friends, pitting rivalries in her community. Okay? While the other child, who's the prisoner, who's the slave girl to the narcissistic mother, she won't care what she does. She won't check in on the friends that she associates with. You know, the Word of God says that bad company corrupts good character. But she wants her. She not only allows her and gives her less restrictions because she just wants her gone. She wants her invisible. She will run with the bad and corrupt element. And it's not only that she allows her to do it, she sets her up for failure. She sets her up for juvenile delinquency. She sets her up with no boundaries, with no limits, with no expectations. My only expectation is you get out of my face. My only expectation is that you don't expect anything from me. That's what the narcissistic mother says to that daughter. Now, if it's only one daughter that the narcissistic mother has, she will oftentimes go through cycles where she will treat her like a slave girl, treat her like a servant, treat her like a emotional punching bag, and emotional tampon. But then she'll go and be her friend for a while. So this is where, so I don't know if this is where a lot of times people who have emotional dysregulation in adulthood, it has nothing to do with you, boo. You came from a firestorm. You came from a tornado. You were born in a volcano. And your mama put it in you. Real meets real. Because life was an emotional roller coaster with your narcissistic mother. Because she hated you. She despised you. She was jealous and envious of you. And no one understands this. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You don't understand how, I think in most people's virtue and nature and intellect, you think the caregiver, the nurturer, the empathetic one, the one who cares about your dreams and wants you to go the distance and wants to say you can do it. The parent you really want to be that person who does that is your mom, is your mother. Fathers can be that. Fathers can be encouragers. Fathers can be edifiers and affirmers. We're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the coaches, and we're supposed to be the inspiration, and we're supposed to be the motivators of our children and our spouses. We're supposed to bring order to the family. But the narcissistic mother, in this whole dynamic of the family, she does not want order. She does not want her, if there is a husband, she does not want him putting any order or structure in the family, because that would mess up her system. That would mess up her ability to control, because she keeps herself the focus of all attention by pitting every other player on the field against one another. She wants to pit the children against the father. She wants them to resent him every time he tries to put boundaries in. She wants to paint the father as the villain in the household. That prevents the children from going to him for comfort, for going to him for understanding. That prevents everybody from getting together and saying, "Hey, boo, it's you. We all could get along just fine were it not for the narcissism and the control and the manipulation that all emanates from this source of the narcissistic mother." I've seen on one rare occasion, this is how the family splits up. This is how the family split, if it stays intact. And you may have observed this in other families too, that the parents don't have a relationship. You can't have a relationship with a narcissistic mate, okay? They don't want it to begin with, all right? But in one instance I'm thinking of just now, it popped into my mind. The mother was an overt narcissist, and the father was a covert narcissist. And what happened was the narcissistic mother chose the golden child, that she spent all of her time and energy and effort and poured into her and connected with her and esteemed her and reminded her of her and mirrored her and affirmed her, and she got like this with that daughter. So what happened was, because there was the neglected slave girl daughter, that the way she saw the other child, then the husband in the situation and the slave girl child, they developed an inappropriate overconnection with one another. But all of it was dysfunctional mess. And there was always, and remains to this day, even in adulthood, there was this rivalry and this envy between the two daughters in the family. But the abused spouse had no one to connect to except the neglected daughter. So the neglected daughter began to take on a lot of her father's wounds. He parentified that child. He parentified her, and he spousified her. And from the outside, it would look like, oh, look at that loving father with his daughter. No. He was that way with his daughter because of the relationship he did not have with his wife. It was dysfunctional, as functional and dysfunctional can get. So you may, and a lot of times what happens is the real abused daughter of a narcissistic mother, she feels like Cinderella. She wants escape. She wants someone who sees her. She wants someone who affirms her. She wants someone who values her. Okay? She's been overlooked. She's been neglected. Her needs have never been cared for. No one's ever cared to develop her as far as, what her joys are, what her loves are. Like, she takes an interest in something, and the narcissistic mother cares nothing about it. Says it's stupid. Says it's dumb. Well, a healthy parent would nurture that person, that child, to have her own set of joys, to have her own personal experience. But the narcissistic parent, and the narcissistic mother especially, she does not want her children having personal experiences. The narcissistic mother wants herself to be the personal experience of everyone. She wants to enmesh and take over everyone. So the adult daughter of a narcissistic mother who's hungry and thirsty for all this validation and all this affirmation and edification, guess what the primary attraction is in adult life? Yeah, as if she's straight, okay, it's a narcissistic male. It's a familiar spirit. You'll be drawn to this guy. He will seem so charismatic and charming at the beginning, and then at the end, you're like, this person treats me like garbage. This person treats me like dirt. This person treats me like refuse. Because initially, your soul and your spirit was attracted to the narcissist in that person. It has no, you got to be very aware of who that person is. Look for the signs of who they are to the people around them. Look for the signs of how they treat their siblings, their parents. Look for the roots of the fruit that you will expect long term. It's easy to appear to be something for a short period of time just to get someone else interested and attached and tied to you and invested in you. They want this initial quick investment because they don't have the resources to maintain a relationship long term. That's why they rush everything. Well, I hope this sounds familiar to you. You know, and if you have had a narcissistic mother who did this to you, and you're the daughter of a narcissistic mother, put in the comments if this sounds familiar to you whatsoever. And there is hope, and there is peace, and there is a new you, born again of God. He will be the father that you never had, the mother that you never had. God will be all those things to your soul and to your spirit and bring you into a brighter destiny, brighter hope for what your future holds when you receive the love of God through Jesus Christ. Peace and love. Amen.